just generally, I think, dropped the ball is just fair to say, and I think they would agree with it. I think they agree with the criticism of them that the more clutch the game gets, the more likely they are to falter. And in this tournament so far, they've kind of overcome some adversity already. So I think that's a very healthy sign.
And I will say, Falcons, I feel like there was a certain point of the BetBoom tournament, ironic, I guess, and most of the portion of this tournament where they look to be unstoppable in the fact that they're not really making mistakes. But I feel like in the last few series, we've seen some windows that they've provided their opponents. Like, there's a chance for them to pounce on it. And I feel like one advantage BetBoom has is they played a lot against Falcons between this tournament and the last.
Yeah.
In fact, I think during that time, I wouldn't be surprised if they played them more than any other team. So I feel like they should have learned a lot from these games. Let's see how they actually put that forward into the best of 5. Skeeter gets his patented Sven, of course. Feels like
saying that.
He absolutely loves this hero.
Yep.
And we've seen teams ban it against. Were you surprised to see that not get taken away? Because it's not like it was a first pick Sven either. It was in the second phase.
The thing about the draft order, how it works right now with the whether you get 1 or 2 bans in the second phase, there's a lot of things that you need to get through. So you can't ban everything. That's as usual the case, but I think the first phase bans from BetBoom made a ton of sense. I don't know if they could have found the space for a Sven ban in the second phase, because obviously other cores were getting banned out. And this time around, they're trying a different solution with the KB Piercing Stun and the Beastmaster. That is, however, against Disruption, which is considered one of the best spells against Beastmaster in general. So you did pick your poison here. So am I surprised they gave Sven? Not really. If they lose to it again, if Skitter gets his 10th win in a row or whatever it is with the Sven, maybe they're going to do it for game 2.
Yep, a save in a bit of trouble. Blood grenade. Is that going to finish him off? The right clicks from Snake King will suffice, and now it's a 2v1 as Miero has to back off a bit. I mean, I do like one thing about BetBoom, and I mean, we talk about the draft being so difficult against Falcons because they have all these flex. But if you're bringing out heroes like Lycan and Beastmaster, which again, the cast yesterday, we feel like they should have actually 2-0'd Falcons with that Lycan. But if you're able to make these heroes bannable potentially, that could open up the draft a lot for BetBoom as well, because Miero can obviously play all the meta offlaners like the DK, the Mars and whatnot.
Yep, for sure. The difference is this time around compared to the previous games where we saw his Beastmaster and Lycan run, I think he has a much worse laning matchup this time. He's still going to do fine, but the previous times we've seen it, it's been an outstanding game, so it's kind of where you're expecting him to do very well. I'm curious to see how things are going to go if they draw or even lose this lane, which, I mean, at the pace it's going right now with the first blood on to save, could very well be the case that Falcons just run away with this lane. Beastmaster's a momentum hero. If you're not winning your lane, is the hero really serving its purpose? Guess we'll have to see, because I don't think he's going to win the lane at this rate. I think he's probably drawing it at best.
Yeah, in this mid lane, GPK 22-2 versus Malr1ne 20-3, so very even thus far. Not much to write home about as of yet. But this bottom lane is something I do want to talk about. So Amar gets that last pick Doom, which we've seen be underwhelming at times in this tournament. How do you feel this works in this draft for them?
I think it's good for a couple of reasons. I think when you're playing offlane Doom, I think it's very important that your team has other means of catch. I think some of the problems that the last pick Dooms have run into is you play with a lineup that might not necessarily have the easiest time initiating fights, and I think Doom's job is 10 times easier in games when somebody else gives vision. When you're drafted to, I need to blink Doom the carry to start the fight, a lot of the time that gets very difficult when you get into these like Rosh-offs and smokes and all this stuff. But in this case, you've got the Bad Rider who can frontline for you, you've got the Primal Beast who can go in first, and that is going to show you the void, and that's when you go. Right. So it doesn't have to be you starting it, and it takes a lot of pressure off you. So I like it a lot more in this game than many we've seen, and I also think just the raw impact of landing a Doom in this game is massive. Like, Dooming Void is a full-on fight winner. So
yep, absolutely.
Should be happy.
And more thoughts about the Falcon, like the way that they actually draft. I mean, the Bat Rider could have been flex, right? And the fact that we don't really talk about this too much as well, but the supports being flex is actually pretty important as well, because we've seen Crit dominate on Shadow Demon. We did see Snake King play it yesterday to very good effect, his save. Not gonna be able to get the blast off there because of the disruption from Snake King. But just being able to interchange all these heroes just makes it such a difficult task for each team when drafting against Falcons.
Man, these Techies illusions are eating the board. So it's quite surprising how much damage those do nowadays.
But it is funny that we've gotten to a point where we're seeing these first pick supports, right? The Techies and the Shadow Demon. Speaking of Shadow Demon, blast off coming for Snake King.
Nice Stormhammer.
And the slows from the boar into the axes are finally enough. And that's the first kill on the board for BetBoom.
1K lead right now, looking very good for them. Worth keeping in mind about this matchup between the two teams. I would say across all the games we've seen in this tournament, Falcons the better comeback team. So I think if BetBoom on average in these games are going to get off to a worse laning stage, oh, nice arrow. Oh, yeah. No. Then I would have more faith in Falcons pulling back games where they're in a bad spot. That said, though, yesterday BetBoom did have a really rough game one until they full-on turned it around with one team fight, but that also felt, how to say, on like more of a macro strategic level rather than outplay necessarily. In the game where Skitter was playing Luna against the Lifestealer of Nightfall. So
the onslaught's coming. Miero is the target for Malr1ne, but now trying to walk it off as there is a TP coming.
It gets cancelled immediately though.
GPK forcing crit back up as bottom lane Amar, because of these rotations, is just dead. 1v2 cannot hold up to the damage here. And for his build, he did go for the Veil of Discord this time around.
Yeah. It's very good news for BetBoom if they're winning the Void lane. Like, Void inherently not the strongest laner. Oftentimes will be bullied by specific offlaners that I guess aren't too popular right now. Doom definitely not one of them. So this is looking quite good for BetBoom so far. We know that Sven, in many of Falcons' games, has just pulled ahead by thousands of net worth around the 20-minute mark. But if Nightfall is doing this hot and they find like one good fight, I guess this is an interesting way of looking at it with Falcons and their Sven, right? Have they had a close game where it was like, oh man, Skitter really needs to clutch this in the late game? It feels like most of the time they've kind of just been owning it up. Yeah. Around that mid-game part. So what if that doesn't happen? All right,
the first Doom of the game. Tries to TP. Not that that would have helped here, but damage is way too much. And actually that TP probably hurts him quite a bit as he has to walk now.
That's a pretty big mistake, actually. Amar is absolutely going to come in for an Infernal Blade there, and wasting that TP is going to cost him a wave of creeps at least.
GPK will be able to snag the Invis. As Malr1ne is forced away, but that is a use of the Rolling Thunder. So won't have that for the next 80 seconds.
Wonder if we're going to see Nightfall smoke to get to lane here, or if he's just going to run down. He'll just walk normally. He has the Chrono, which I guess they would like to put to use. Malr1ne, oh, that was a short charge. The thing is, what combos do you have?
With Chrono?
Yeah. Don't really have anything. I mean, you have a Swashbuckle. Blast off doesn't even work.
It doesn't actually proc?
I think Techies gets stuck in the Chrono, right? Am I wrong?
You might be right.
I think so. I mean, I would imagine it works similarly to other flying abilities like Dawnbreaker ulti.
And there's definitely no wombo combo, that's for sure.
They can arrow, but that's not particularly much damage, it's just lockdown. So I think Nightfall's own farm is very important for finding kills. And not only is that a little bit of a worry, but of course the Shadow Demon disruption will always be a problem for him, so it does feel like there's some problems that they need to overcome. All right, Malr1ne's going to show himself to kill a courier and then back off. And the Beastmaster show begins. He has his Dom. He's going to start pushing this tower. Panel talked about Doom as a potential solution to this.
Yep, until the Overlord comes out, and then you have to wait for the talent on Doom to eat the Ancient.
Yeah.
That's still a talent, right? I think it's 20.
I think so.
Is under attack.
Be a while. Snake King is going to get gone on right now. Oh, 15 talent. All right. Arrows there. Should be an easy cleanup as disruption will delay a bit. But eventually, they want to get the kill to Nightfall. He does find it eventually. Skeeter, I should say, actually showing himself.
Sabotaged by his own creep wave. If not for that, I think Nightfall actually doesn't get that kill. I think they have to give it to someone else, but he got blocked by the wave coming in. Time for the 10-minute power rune. Malr1ne on the money.
Radiant's bottom
Arrow not going to be there, but the shield rune ends up being bottom. That is a very good rune from Malr1ne if you can get to it.
Yeah, one of the best heroes in the game to get this on. Right in your face kind of hero, massive strength gain, so it has a ton of health.
And more importantly, he looks really cool when it's activated.
Oh yeah, is it this cosmetic that goes gold? It is, right?
I believe so.
It looks like the upgraded BKB.
It's a bit blurred with his arms being a different color entirely, but that's Dota for you. Good stuff. So the tier 1 tower did go down for Mirana and company. They're still sticking around waiting for potentially Skeeter to show up, but we can say on the minimap that nobody is remotely near.
I think, I don't know, I feel like this is kind of a waste of time. I think at this level of play, Falcons are not going to fall for this, I think. But maybe BetBoom are just going to brute force it. They have the Siege Creep wave and the Beastmaster Dom. Maybe they're like, you guys have to come up here to defend.
And Toronto Tokyo actually breaks the smoke and leaps to safety. Snake King not really able to find an opening here, but we can see Falcons in terms of net worth getting more out of the map right now. A lot of it had to do with the 3 heroes of BetBoom just chilling there. Snake King is going to get gone on. And again, this might be a slow kill. Arrow actually sidesteps. Swash, not enough. He'll walk away, surprisingly enough. Great juking from Snake King.
Walked in a straight line.
Yep.
BetBoom will take mid tower, so opening up the map further. This is what Beastmaster wants to have happen, but like we talked about, it did give up the pressure on the top tier 2, and while all of this is happening, BetBoom are bringing a ton of resources to take these towers, and it is going to cost in the efficiency department, where both Sven and Doom are just completely free farming the map. So Falcons are very willingly taking this trade to get toward that mid-game timing that they're very well versed in when they're playing Sven. And I guess, you know, a lot of the games that we've seen with Doom, his laning stage has gone atrociously bad. I think that's a big part of why we've seen pretty weak results. Amar's having a great start.
Yeah,
his game is going, he's going to get farmed here. So this might not be your stereotypical group stage 2 Doom performance.
Actually upgrading to Shiva's right away. I feel like maybe we've seen that one time in the games that we've cast. Very rarely you go for that 2,000 gold recipe.
I think he has the luxury of not going Blink specifically because of his teammates though, right? Like you don't have to initiate like that with Doom when you have these heroes backing you up.
He might be in some trouble though. Yeah. Unbeknownst to him, he's going to get backstabbed by BetBoom. Nightfall.
He is quite tanky. He's got 30 armor and the speeds, but no backup.
Looking to get the Doom off. Does he actually want to commit it? I doubt it at this point. And he's just going to get destroyed. BetBoom get another valuable kill to the name. And that's going to give the Maelstrom for Nightfall. And we can see he's middle of the pack in terms of net worth. Bottom of the cores, but this Maelstrom will likely catapult him to top 3 not too far in the future.
Yeah, the distance here isn't alarming yet. But it is, of course, Sven that is pulling ahead. It would be very alarming if he was not number 1 for the side of Falcons, but still going according to plan for them for the most part. But you're right, this is not the type of lead that is very scary for BetBoom to deal with. We need to remember that Faceless Void just has a thing for winning late game. So as long as you can get there, and let's not forget Beastmaster, for me, I find this hero quite different than Lycan when it comes to scaling. It's actually quite interesting. I feel like Beastmaster is clearly the better late gamer. You would think that Lycan, okay, he's more like right-click heavy, he has the wolves and everything, and he builds these like combat items. But a lot of the time in late game situations, Beastmaster can do a ton of damage. He'll have amazing utility. It's way better to have those 2 roars when you get refresher than having a shapeshift most of the time. Late game is often decided by who makes the first misstep, and Beastmaster's an amazing punisher.
And I will say the wolf bite, small sample size, has looked terrible.
Yeah, it did nothing the 2 games they had it.
It has looked really bad, and that's 4,200 net worth being used on an ally.
That's a good point. Like, maybe the Lycan would have looked better if he bought another item.
Yeah, if you go for like the AC basher, like just actual right-click build, perhaps it's crit. Going in for the lasso, Skeeter is, wow, okay. That Techies evaporates.
And
we'll be able to get the tier 1 as well, but Swash being quite annoying for Malr1ne. Of course, GPK with the defusal, as he's opting to go Blink next. TP's coming, so looks like they want to fight. BetBoom gets the inhibit onto Skeeter. Crit going in, but he actually gets stuck on the tree line. Rolling Thunder, but Disruption's going to save him for the time being, but he is completely surrounded. Skeeter is mega dead. Nice rotations from BetBoom, kind of catching Falcons off guard a bit.
That's huge for them. A lot of the games we've seen Falcons Sven, they get this tower and they just, you know, every god strength has success. He would find the Techies kill, he would get the mid tower and go back to farming, but BetBoom say no. They immediately respond here. And there's no bigger hero to kill in this game than Sven. Like, for the foreseeable future, that is the biggest kill you can find. Even if he's not top net worth, he's still the best kill just because the way the hero functions is so much about this staying on pace. Every death costs him probably 1,000 gold against the Void. You're not farming, the Void is, so this gap is going to narrow down. There's a big find there for BetBoom. They defend their tower. It's going to only be temporary, though. It's pretty low health. They will get it eventually, but still delaying things. Dagger coming up for DPK after this nice triple wave.
Malr looking for the Doom. Obviously no blink, but there's the onslaught for Malr1ne into the Pulverize and the Doom to follow. Save is there. Trying to hold them back a bit, but GPK is definitely dead, and Save spotted in the trees. That's going to be 2 kills for Falcons now.
And ironically, now GPK did not get his dagger because he didn't kill the ranged creeps. He specifically cast his spells in a safer way because he was worried he was getting initiated on. But now that he died anyway, if he had just killed the whole wave, he would have had his blink. So that sucks a bit. Toronto, Tokyo will get disrupted. No purge for the haste rim, though.
Toronto, Tokyo now with the mech. And yeah, Amar will be going for the blink after the fact.
Radiant's middle tower
standard.
is under attack.
This kill on the Pango bottom there is really big, though.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Very much close down BetBoom.
This is a game that we're going to see the lasso onto Toronto. Gets off the leap, the mech as well, but now he's out of mobility. It's a matter of time. Crit gets credit for it. But this is definitely a Lincoln's game for BetBoom, I would assume. The lasso, the Doom. I mean, even demonic. I mean, that's maybe the issue. Is there's a lot of single target for Falcons, but all 5 heroes having something that you'd like to block.
Yeah.
Does BetBoom get into the pit? We'll see if Falcons are aware of this at all. This is what, of course, Beastmaster provides you the opportunity to get an early rush.
Yeah. Overlord creep the dragon is quite tanky.
Under attack. Dire are scanning.
Light Collector, Syndra.
Oh,
Get back on your game, please.
Light Collector on the Doom.
That's right.
Has fallen to the Radiant.
And the Aegis will be reserved for GPK.
How much move speed do you have on Doom when you use Scorched Earth and you have Light Collector? He's actually going to be hasted with this. That extra 10% and phase boots will be real quick during this nighttime. The mana regen's awesome, obviously, for Doom. He's going to be able to spam his spells off cooldown if he wants.
You're really obsessed with this item. Is crit,
it is
bound, but blinks.
Mark my words, that item is getting nerfed badly in the upcoming patch in 4 months.
I think that's going to disappoint a lot of people if it's 4 months away. Oh dear. If it's 4 months away, we better see 8 new heroes. That's what I'm saying.
Are scanning.
Are actually pretty close to the blink, so I feel like we were just talking about that. We'll have that mobility option now. And I mean, that's the scary thing from BetBoom's perspective. They do have the Aegis, and they're going to start going for these Lincolns, but just look at Falcon's side. They have so many initiators.
Yeah.
Once this Ags comes online for Sven, like, pretty scary stuff.
And like you said, I don't even know if Lincoln's is that good. Like, maybe it's a necessary evil, but you have so many things that break it that you can kind of just overpower it.
Yeah, I think the play is Lincoln's into tier 5 Mirror Shield, which...
Right.
Is that even in the game anymore? Yes, it's Ex Machina that's out.
If you get to tier 5 neutrals, you have a pretty good chance of winning the game, because then you have the Faceless Void 60 minutes in.
Yeah, that's true.
But let's get to minute 60 first, shall we?
We will.
I have my doubts.
We better get 160-minute game in the finals.
Well, I think we'll get at least one, but I don't know if this is the one. We'll see.
Yeah, the Beastmaster makes it a little bit less likely. Well, yeah, there is. Yeah, almost there, guys.
Quarter of the way.
Pretty close. Tormentors will be up in 30 seconds. Falcons have been pretty good at being that team that goes for it relatively early.
BetBoom
will smoke.
I like this smoke a lot. I think this is a great timing to do it. At the end of the night here, if you find some kills top, perhaps you can transition to getting your Tormentor when you're already up here anyway. Falcons will not be caught off guard. Toronto is the one to break the smoke. Not ideal. Immediately blink away from Amar. They're... I guess nothing's going to really come from this. Both teams aren't able to steal the Tormentor. Wisdom Rune 50 seconds away. Don't know if either team will be looking for that one either. Crit actually here, cutting the wave top very aggressively. Looks like he might be punished for it. If Nightfall Chronos, he will be dead.
Yep, and the Chrono will come. And the arrow to help Nightfall secure his kill. Now we'll see if they just take the Tormentor since they are kind of grouped up here. Although Amar, what about initiating here?
Doesn't have to worry about the Chrono now.
He gets scanned out. Very nice scan from Bedboom.
Maelstrom, Sanjin, Yasha, Void. If this was Guess the MMR, I feel like Lacoste would be like, people in high rank don't buy this item. So this has to be Legend.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show how context is very important. This is not a build most of the time, but against Doom and against the...
I mean, if you even go back, the TI where Thompson buys Diffusal on Gyro, you look at that and like, this is very low MMR.
I mean, that does make sense though. Thompson is a legend, so...
yeah, just in a different way, that's true. As it does feel like Bedboom.
And you are ancient in both ways.
Don't remind me. The Lincolns are being queued up on the side of Bedboom. And I don't know if that's what they're actually waiting for, because, I mean, their Aegis only has 50 seconds left. They don't really get that much out of it. As Crit will be walking over by the mine. Save is going to spot him for real this time. Moonlight Shadow is there as well. He will likely pulverize mid blast off. Goodbye, Techies. But still, tank a gank. Not too bad for your support to do that.
It didn't seem like he reacted to the first mine going off. I think he might have not noticed.
It's possible, yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't know if you get out there anyway, so... Still staying as a stable 4K. The gold hasn't really changed much in the last few minutes, so... You could argue this is good news for Bedboom. The Sven is not having this insurmountable lead that we've seen in a lot of games from Falcons. The upcoming 5 minutes feel like they're going to be deciding a lot. Will Skitter, once he gets this ag...
They want this dragon! They will get it. Goodbye, Goofy the Dragon.
253 gold, very specific.
Dire are scanning.
Looks like the tier 2 is gonna be Falcons to take.
This is his eggs. All right, so Skitter will show up with... This is when it usually gets scary for the opposing team. Skitter is level 18 with eggs. They find some sort of a good team fight. Skitter comes in, cleans up supports, and they build the fight up, and then they get the Roche. Let's see if the usual pattern for Falcons' Sven games will repeat itself. I do believe they... Like we talked about, they have not lost a game with Sven in Group Stage 2, right? I feel like they've won all of them.
All I know is he's lost one the entire tournament. Save initiated on. Actually a lot tankier than what it may seem like. As the taser making it a little bit more difficult than the blast off dies midair. So Save, basically the only Bedboom member that's been dying in the last few minutes, it feels like. Still a relatively low kill game, and there's the axe for Skeeter. I mean, both teams are definitely feeling confident that once they get to these items that they're wanting to get, whatever that threshold may be, that's when they're going to feel confident in actually fighting. I mean, the fact that, again, the Aegis on Bedboom wasn't used in any capacity, really.
So I just want to quickly mention how disappointing it is. He's 1 second slower than the average, which is probably himself half of these games, so...
yeah.
Very disappointing from Skitter.
Oh, there we go. There's a shield rune on Malr1ne. Yeah, that looks good.
What's this Pokemon called?
I don't know anything about Pokemon, so I don't have it any good.
Electrosaurus.
Okay. Oh, now what is it? It has a bubble. Very tanky. As Malr1ne has the Eternal Shroud, Blade Mail Blink, and Axe will be next. And in terms of breaking...
It's straining to keep looking at it. It's so bright.
Well, stop looking at it. Well, if somebody says don't look into the sun, what do? You look into the sun?
Don't think of an elephant.
What? Hey, Malr1ne.
Have you ever heard of that?
No.
You don't know that book?
No.
It's not a movie, so you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, true. They make an adaptation. to a movie, then I would have seen it.
Radiant's top tower is
6K lead for Falcons, so the lead growing slightly over time. That boom, and the fact that they smoked, perhaps they thought that Falcons were going to get a bit aggressive. But again, they take a tower here, a tower there with that god strength.
Step by step, very methodical. They keep building the advantage slightly, but once again, not necessarily too worrying compared to most games we've seen from them with this Sven. This is probably in the lower third of advantages they've had minute 25. Chances for BetBoom, not the worst. And we know Sven, for a fact, this hero, 1 or 2 bad fights, and everything can come crashing down. I also remember BetBoom played this matchup earlier in the tournament, the Void against Sven. They played it against Team Spirit and were successful in that game. That was a bit of a mess, to be honest, from both teams that game. But BetBoom managed to clutch it out. I think that was over an hour in. It was actually that long of a Sven game. It's a bit ominous for this, but...
First Lincoln's up. This one for GPK. It's actually funny. Not only do they have a lot of single target kills, they have 4, is my count so far, that go through BKB as well.
Yeah.
That is not too common to see that many. So the BKB with the Lincolns underneath it, as it were, going to be maybe not even that effective.
It seems like a very deliberate choice from Falcons to build their Sven lineup this way. So that the one thing that Skitter can struggle with is if people BKB and just kite him, but his entire team are just going to hold them in place so he can deliver.
Yeah.
And with a second Roche.
Yeah.
This is going to roar though. Right?
At some point. There it is.
Okay, half health.
That's a happy belch from Roshan, but we can see Falcons are on the way.
I think they want to take the fight after Roche dies, actually. I don't think they're going to just back off from this smoke and do nothing.
Yeah, that's the Aegis, and that's the Cheese Falcons. Let's see if they stick around. It looks like that is the case. They put down a ward by the Lotus Fountain. Malr1ne. Not going to be greeted by anyone.
BetBoom's not letting them have it.
Yeah, they just TP out en masse.
Nice hit and run. Clean Roche.
Will they be able to use this Aegis now? I mean, my understanding from BetBoom's perspective, tell me if I'm wrong, they want to go ultra late. Like, Void is the best theoretical carry in Dota because of these double chrono potentials.
Yeah, I don't think they necessarily mind, but it's still... I think they would like to use this Aegis to try to win a fight, and then they don't necessarily need to use that to high ground if they do win. But it feels a bit like a waste to have a Pango with Lincolns and Aegis and then not even try to fight with it, because it's actually quite difficult for Falcons to kill him twice.
Crit is spotted. Toronto Tokyo not going to be fishing with the arrows yet. Here the ADHD on BetBoom's side. GPK spamming that ult. And again, no fight to come. I mean, when there is a fight, it's going to be a tasty treat for all. Other than the team that loses.
Alright, is that was that a prediction?
No, I needed to hear something.
Alright, was that your ADHD there?
Yeah,
you got inspired by the animation canceling of the Pangolier. You're like, I can do this too.
That's right.
Yes.
And so with this Aegis, GPK and company actually crossing the river, potentially. Indeed, that is the case. But Falcons on the other side, reading them like a book. Not the book that you mentioned, because nobody's read that one.
When's the last kill?
It's been a while.
Oh,
those are sentries,
yeah. Good.
Observer.
Oh, that's what. So they killed Dave minute 24. Okay, it's only been 5 minutes. It feels like it's been 10.
Yeah, but I think Dave has been the only one to die in a long time.
Yeah.
As well. He's died like 3 or 4 times. And if you're Falcons, of course, you're just trying to dodge. As they get another tower to the name, and okay, Miero with his Black Dragon gonna at least poke here. Arrow gonna spot out the TP. Now the Agnum Scepter on Malr1ne. Not sure you're getting any break that's crazy out of this. I guess the Inner Beast. Obviously just the damage is the big reason for it.
Break time lock, but...
Yeah.
I feel like most of the times when primals get this, it's just a feel-good item. You get a lot of stats, you get more team fight damage, and then if it's a break, If it's a good break game, it's just the icing on the cake, but you don't necessarily have to have that. The Axe in itself is just that good. Malr1ne
GPK ready to go. Looks like he's been ready for quite a while. Very anxious to get a fight going. I mean, what are they waiting for then? Normally with these Fen games, they have the Roche advantage.
Precious bounty.
So it's nice to see the other side of the coin every once in a while. But when they're not using the Aegis in any capacity, I don't know. They have the Aegis, they have the cheese. Still a minute and a half. As GPK is working on his Aghanim Scepter, so because of the Lincolns kind of delays the Ags, which is going to be most of his damage in these fights, now he's level 18. And if you're Falcons, are you looking for itemization like Force Staff types or Halberds or whatever to break the eventual Lincolns?
I think so. I mean, Crit, correct me if I'm wrong, Crit already has it, right? Yeah, so Crit can do it himself. He can just blink Force Staff, lasso someone immediately. Doom will probably replace the speed aura for Lincoln Breaker.
Yeah, he's had that the whole game, but that combined with the Light Collector, your obsession.
Yeah.
Ridiculous speed.
Just goes to show move speed is very good. When you can move fast around everything, if you think about it, it's like the one stat in Dota that always is active, right? It's the one thing that matters for everything you do. Fighting.
You're hexed.
Well, okay. It matters for fighting, it matters for farming, because you move fast between camps, it matters for team movements, it matters for everything. So having high move speed, very, very valuable to get for free. Malr1ne will get the rock throw.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So that he can throw rocks. Very good descriptive title for that ability, the name.
Yep, that's, I think, a test for Valve to make sure that they can port Dota to mobile. Rock throw, you got to make it as simple as possible.
Yep, Slardar with sprint.
Yeah, they got rid of that though. I don't think they were
they made the
ready
names
for the
a little bit more elaborate.
Yeah, GPK, like Pango Q could just be Swashy, right? I mean,
that is not descriptive at all.
I think it is.
That could be literally anything.
No, Swashy is good. Toronto Token, I mean, his arrow, right? There's his ult. It's just
it sounds like a laundry detergent.
Yeah, Swashy. Looks like they're going to go for their Tormentor as the Aegis is gone. And the Ag's coming very shortly for GPK.
I want to give a shout out to Toronto Tokyo. Did not die to the Tormentor this time.
Good job.
I was going to say it's a 50-50, but I think the Tormentor has had the upper hand.
All right, Cinder, I think it's time to talk about block of cheese.
Good one.
They're going to start collecting cheese here.
No, they're
soon.
not. Oh, well, they're collecting cheese, sure, but they're not going to make the block.
No,
the
banner collection has been shown to be ineffective, so it's time to kill Roche dire side every time and get those cheeses.
Do you know if the block of cheese barrier is purgeable?
I doubt it.
Because if it's purgeable, then it's irrelevant against Sven.
Cinder, we're trying to hype up something here, okay?
Yeah, pick something else.
Block of cheese. Everyone's excited for it.
No.
Yes.
Clearly not.
Type cheese in chat.
You're the kind of person where somebody's like, make a wish, and then you wish for something that never happened. You know what I do? I wish for basic things, because then my wish comes true.
Okay, what kind of basic wish are we talking?
Like, make a wish. It could be something like,
I hope I wake up tomorrow. That kind of thing?
Okay, that's very basic. You know, something like, I wish for, you know, I wish I get my favorite dinner soon, or, I wish I get a nice kiss today, you know, something like that.
I'm available.
And you're like, well, I wish for it in the right context and with the right person.
Okay.
But
fair
you know, you could. I bet you're like, I wish for world peace, or you know, like good luck. You know, not getting that.
Yeah, I think good luck is the best thing to have. Actually, skill doesn't matter in life. It's all luck.
Damn, these players.
Look how you got here.
These players have been really lucky.
Yeah.
I wish I was lucky.
Of course, it's all nepotism. You know, that's how they get on these things.
We have a roar.
Into the arrow. Skeeter is all alone for now. The Rolling Thunder applied, and he is gonna die.
A moment of weakness, ladies and gentlemen.
Malr1ne getting chased. Will get stunned by GPK. Nightfall is here as well. Has the chrono available. Do they need it? Try to kite him out a bit. The stun's still there. Crit actually getting it there. Chrono, beautiful timing. Down goes Crit. Nice to disruption from Snaking, gonna delay this a bit. There's just so many heroes, but here comes Amar. He wants to fight. He gets off the Doom in the middle of the time walk. It looks like Void's just gonna be able to walk it off. Now a buyback onto Skeeter. Has his God Strength available. Oh, gets beat. Void is just getting destroyed as he gets backstabbed by Skeeter, so the buyback is successful. Falcons and Beppu absolutely sick of this garbage conversation we've been having and finally take a fight as Amar, all chat ensues, and now the chase is on Miero. He takes out his courier with a casual right click, and here comes Skeeter. The roar comes out, but it's not gonna matter. Miero dies.
My goodness, that is so clutch from the side of Falcons. I mean, the way this started out, yeah, nice bug, actually. It's like, how can you doom someone mid-time walk? It should be impossible, right?
Yeah.
That's what Amar is triggered by. He still ends up getting a kill, but
that was strange.
it should not really be a possibility, I think, unless it's like on the frame, maybe?
There he comes. From the north, very shortly. He's broken. Time walk number 1 into the chrono. This was very nice. The destruction from Snaking doing absolute work. And here you can see Doom at the top. Nightfall sees him. That is strange.
That should not be possible.
That is strange.
Because one of two things should happen. Either you get
going high ground, by the way. You talk about mechanics after Cinderin. Tier 3 down. And Skeeter. I don't know if they're going to stick around. God's Strength is no longer there, so they'll be happy with the tier 3. Okay, you can talk now.
That follow-up play from Falcons to that situation, by the way, is exceptionally difficult to decide in the moment.
Yeah.
It's so... It's such a big decision to make that a lot of the times you're hesitant to make it because the risk-reward can be really skewed in the enemy team's direction. If you buy back Sven there and don't find the key kills, it feels really bad. But they do find the exact heroes that they were looking for. They found 2 cores. They got to use the Pulverize to cancel the TP out from the Faceless Void. Malr1ne, I think, clipped him on the AoE of Pulverize from the secondary target. The buyback from Skitter does pay off. Of course, worth keeping in mind that death he had mid was honestly a bit of an uncharacteristic blunder for Falcons. He was just way out of position.
But he did use God Strength. That's why the buyback was actually good.
That is true.
Sucks ass at buybacks a lot of the time.
Yep, fair.
So that ends up working out for Falcons somehow.
Double Havoc Hammer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Time to bring the hammer to Bet Boom.
I like hammer time.
Yep. Give me another ninja gear.
Satanic for Skeeter very shortly.
And it's Roche number 3 time.
Yeah, okay. This is going to be the Aghanim Scepter. This actually provides some net worth for Bet Boom.
Who did he give that to?
Well, GPK has his. Miero's doesn't feel very good.
Just
it's got to be Nightfall. They actually don't have the greatest of Ags. Here's Malr1ne. Going to spot Toronto Tokyo in the trees, but the rest of Bet Boom still taking Roche. The lasso used as well as the Pulverize just to get one. Toronto Tokyo and company. Looks like everyone else is going to get out. Indeed. So Bet Boom again taking Roche.
Really well
played. And that cuts the lead to 7K as the Ags was consumed by Nightfall.
That is the best death Toronto Tokyo has had all tournament, probably. That was very, very nice. Just giving all the information, buying them the time. They get the full Roche and the full disengage specifically because Mirana breaks the smoke and dies. Like, that's about as good as it's going to get. The type of impact you can have on position 5 this late into the game. Very well timed and placed death will give them Nightfall top net worth now with that Ags infusion.
Yeah, that's nice. It's always nice. What is it? It's 6K, right?
Yeah.
Counts the synth, so.
Yeah, should be.
Pretty close to Lincoln's. Obviously doesn't really want to fight without that, but has the Aegis, so we'll see. I mean, he also needs Shard. It's actually pretty damn important for this Ag,
yes,
I would say.
He should absolutely buy this next if they don't get the Tormentor Shard on him.
I wish we had that timer. Hopefully that's the next patch in 4 months.
They are missing 3 shards, so he actually can't even get it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He has to buy this after Lincoln, surely.
GPK needs his shard as well, surely. And he's buying it next as I say that.
Okay, I think that's not nearly as important as the Void one. Oh, his courier died. Amar killed the Lincolns.
All right, well.
It's so why is Amar there on his own? It's so wild.
That's true.
It's really wild. He had vision, of course, otherwise he will not be playing there. But even with vision, you're not safe against Moonlight, Shadow, and Smokes.
And you can see the strat from Bet Boom is indeed a Lincoln. So they're going for 4. Toronto Tokyo just starting his now.
Yeah. Techies opting for the Lotus. I honestly think he could buy Lincolns too. I wouldn't mind.
Oh, okay, then it's 3. Because Miero's not going for his. He does get Ninja Gear though, which is incredibly good.
Bottom tower is under attack.
S tier on Beastmaster for sure. You want to get the moment of the element of surprise.
And Nightfall looks like they want to fight. They actually want to do something with this Aegis. Feels nice and confident with that big fat juicy ogre golem. He's now uppercutting the tower. Didn't know you could do that to buildings. Oh, Crit, he gets the lasso, repositioning, kind of a big deal here. Can they burn through the Aegis? Lincoln's is popped. That's going to be decked. Whoa! He gets off the time walk, but then the hammer comes in from Skeeter, pops the Godstrict as well. Roach, Aegis down. Will they surround him? Now Miero gets off the Doom onto Amar, and Nightfall pops the BKB and now runs away. As Malr1ne gets stunned mid-animation, but the Doom applied to the Void. Amar still looking for that high 5 as Nightfall looks to be dead as the rest of his team will abandon him. So nice fight for Falcons, good defense. It all started with the fact that Nightfall gets lassoed into the base, and remember, he's fighting without the Lincolns because the courier died. Makes a huge difference here.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you just don't do that without that Lincolns on you. Like, perhaps the difference is just too big. It feels like this could have... It's also clutch from Falcons. Like, if they mess up if they miss a beat here, they use the wrong spell on the Lincolns or whatever, this can go very wrong, but they're very coordinated and very prepared to take this kind of fight.
Crit spotted, bashed by the Swashy. Then he pops his BKB, gets roared. Mid-animation Skeeter trying to help his teammate out. That's going to be the first deck. He gets saved by the destruction for the time being. He's actually alive somehow, and Save just getting beat down by Skeeter. As Malr1ne with the rock throw, Amar jumps in as well. Focusing on Miero for now, he gets decimated, and now Toronto Tokyo in his own base is just going to get run down. This is all without the Faceless Void available.
Radiant structures are fortified.
That blows this game open. 19K network lead for Falcons. I have no idea how Crit lives there. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so clutch. The disruption, he comes out of it, he pops BKB and Yules to buy time, and he eventually survives the whole thing. Also kind of questioned BetBoom even looking for that to begin with.
Oh, no, that's bad.
They didn't have their Void, and they were the ones to aggress, right? The Pango opened up on the bat. So they started out a 4v5, and they end up paying the price for that. That's going to cost them a lot. 2 buybacks on supports. They lost additional heroes.
No barracks, though.
Keep the base intact, but this lead, we were talking about how the 5K didn't really necessarily cut it for Falcons. 22 looks quite healthy to me.
Yep.
Especially considering, in a lot of these late game situations where Void can get really scary, you're still playing against arguably the hardest counter to your hero in late game in all of Dota. So it's not as clear cut as many of the other Void games we've seen in late game. Doom, if he has your number, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yep. So they did end up getting the Ranger Axe, but nobody really cares about that. Aghanim Scepter. After all this fight, Snake King was not even close to having this a few minutes ago, by the way.
Yep.
That is filthy.
5 SD now with this.
Yeah.
Wonder if we're going to see Snake King buy an Aether Lens and just play max range Lincoln Breaker with this. Could be a possibility. It's also great for the disruption save, of course. He already has the dagger for that. Amar will get the shard.
What do you think BetBoom could have done to itemize? Can they itemize any better? Because you have to go Lincolns. It feels like you need the BKB as well. And even with that, we talked about how many Lincolns breakers through BKB that they have on Falcons. It's absolutely absurd. Now you have 2 extra, or I guess 1 extra with the Shadow Demon Axe.
The X Factor is definitely the bat, because I think there is a world in this game where you don't buy any Lincolns. But I think the bat just is a big problem because of the displacement whenever you're looking to push. If you were just dealing with the Doom and the Pulverize, you could tank up your Void mega hard, get all the items, and get an Aegis, and then, you know, Falcons will struggle. But they're just pulling him into the tier 4s, and the fight is 10 times easier. And that is difficult to itemize against. Maybe 1 or 2 Lotuses were needed earlier than what they did. Obviously, Save has the right idea by getting one for the Faceless Void. You can put the Lotus on him and he starts hitting the tower. It removes the lasso pull. But might have missed that timing now as Falcons looking for potentially the killing blow here. Honestly, if this goes well,
they're scanned
right next to the enemy base.
BetBoom are aware.
Skitter's going to go to work here.
Most likely. Smokes will collide here in just a moment. Save the Glimmer. Right, some vision as Heater in the base now. will get this Rax for free. See if they try to run away. GPK in his ult. Able to get the stun up onto Malr1ne as Nightfall is now surrounding him. Arrow is going to connect. Do they have the damage? He's so tanky. And there's the disruption from Snake King as the Ancient Creep destroyed by Skeeter. That kind of breaks things up a bit. But remember, that is God Strength down.
Yep.
So Falcons probably do not want to fight. But this opens a window potentially for bedboom to try to chase. Not really opting to do so this time around. And we'll know about Roche in 30 seconds as well. As okay.
Well, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. Good. Good stuff. No longer can deny as the smiley face with a double chin comes out from Amar.
All right, extra parentheses. I guess they have a bit of a...
I mean, if there's anybody you can tilt, it is bedboom.
I think it's because of Toronto Tokyo's all chat against Amar yesterday. That's really what they're trying to get him back for.
Does he really need a reason? As Aurora comes out, but the disruption to follow, and here comes Superman. Skeeter. You can see the Demonic Purge breaking the Beastmaster right now. But he's able to TP out, surprisingly enough. The Doom again, this time reserved for the Void. Nightfall dead for 90.
GG.
That is the GG for game number 1. So Falcons take the first one of this best of 5 grand finals. And it felt very much